In this video, you're going to learn how to create getters and setters in C#. Something important is that I'm using the .NET 6 version of the C#, which has a different layout for the program. You don't need to put the namespace and that stuff. So I've got only this using battery system, which is the class that I'm using. So this class consists in a maximum capacity and the current energy of the battery. Then it has three constructors. One that starts at 5000, the maximum capacity, and starts completely charged. The second one also starts completely charged, but can receive the maximum capacity as a parameter. Then you also have the maximum capacity and current energy receiving in a parameter, so you can make a complete customization of the battery. Then you have two different methods, one that charges and one that discharges. Yes, you could have something like only charge for a little bit or discharge for a little bit, but we only have charge all, discharge all. And yes, this is a really well-rounded class, and we are going to try to write it out. So, create an object, battery, phone battery, equals to new battery, and we are going to put that the maximum is 100, and we are going to start it with 23, which is pretty low, almost reaching the warning limit. Then we are going to try to show it up. So, console.writeLine, and we are going to show the phone battery dot current energy. There we go. We are going to supposedly receive 23. Yes, 23. Let's go. Then we are going to try another thing. We are going to try to create the first getter and setter really fast, really easy. The default ones. And after this maximum capacity, just remove this semicolon, add curly brackets, and use the get semicolon set semicolon. This is the one that's easier and faster to use. So if we put here the maximum capacity and also try to change the maximum capacity for 50 as an example and show it again, we are going to be able to receive 100, which is the maximum, and then the new maximum, the 50, and it's already working. But it's not really normally used like that. The getters and setters are usually used for some conditioning, some validation, some precautions, some safety measures. And that's what we are going to do. You see this current energy, the second property, the second attribute of this class. We are going to make it private. Change the access modifier for private. And then we are going to put here a public int, because we are using integer. And we are going to put the current energy. And always make sure to put the C, not the C, but the first letter capital. Then curly brackets, and it's giving an error, because we don't have an accessor. So we are going to put this get here, this automatic get. We didn't even write anything, it only picked the get and the return of the current energy. But the get is pretty easy and all, and we can still add something up. An example, removing this integer and put here a string. Okay. And instead of returning an integer, we can put a plus here and put a percentage. And now instead of returning a number, we are going to return a percentage that will actually show the percentage of the phone. So what are we? It's still in the maximum capacity. Let's put it to the current energy. Now run it, and by running it, we got the 23%. Of course, this is not really important or really wide used. Let's just put integer again, and we are going to create here a setter, which is going to have multiple conditions. So the first one, the first thing that they suggest is it's the default one. Current energy is equals to the value. And the value is always going to be what's after the equals. In this case, if you put something like this is going to be the value. And we cannot change this name. Okay, let's remove this and add an if. The first condition that we are going to work about is the verifying if the value that you introduced is smaller than 0. Because if it's smaller than 0, it doesn't work at all. It cannot be smaller than 0. So let's just say that the current energy is going to be equals to 0. And you can also say something in the console write line, so we can understand what we are doing, right? And here we can put something like value, and then say that the value is equals to the value that is introduced, so we can understand it better when you run it. And say that please try to put a positive number. Then we are also going to try to add another condition. Else if, and this condition is going to be, do not put a current energy above the maximum capacity. Right? So if the value is bigger than the maximum capacity, we will say that the current energy is going to be equal to the... not this current energy is going to be equal to the maximum capacity. So it will not ever but ever exceed the limits. We are also going to say something. Don't exceed the limits. And then someone with an angry face, you know. And finally we are going to put an else. And the else is going to be when any bug occurs, when everything is okay. So what he just suggested, the current energy is going to be equal to the value. In this case, if you go try it out, you are going to put here the current energy. Firstly, you are going to put here how it starts. Then you are going to try to reassign the value for minus 25, which is a negative number. What's happening? Okay, it was simply lag of my computer. Then we are simply going to put here some value that exceeds the maximum capacity. So I'm just going to put here 150. Then if you run it, you're going to see many results. The first one is the 23, which is the starting current energy. Then the second, we are going to try to reassign the current energy, but it says that we need to put a positive number. And then it says 0. Why? It's pretty simple. It's because we cannot exceed the minimum limit, which is 0. Then we put 150, but we cannot really exceed the limits of the maximum capacity, right? So we just left with 100, which is the maximum capacity. And this is it, guys. With this, you've learned how to create not only the getters and setters, but how to custom a little bit the get, how to make the set completely safe and with multiple validations. I'm Diogo Veigas and I'll see you in the next video.